the Push for More podcast.
We are broadcasting from the Harford County Caldwell Banker Regional Office today with Tony Dellarose. And we're going to talk to him a little bit about his background, what he's been through. And this is from one non-Italian to an Italian. How you doing?
How you doing?
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you, brother.
Thanks for being here, and we're going to have some fun with this today. I know you told me a little bit about your background when we talked off the camera and all that kind of stuff, but can you tell us a little bit about your background for the folks watching today?
Absolutely, yeah. Grew up in northeast Baltimore, Pelham Avenue down near Herring Run Park. Went to Archbishop Curley High School. Met a lot of great lifelong friends. My parents were always in the bar and restaurant business, which is a blessing and a curse. And
that was down on Bel Air Road, right, when it started?
Yeah, so my dad had roots in East Baltimore with him, and his brother had a place in on Ashland Avenue and Glover Street in the 40s, 50s, and 60s.
Mm-hmm.
And in 1961, my mother, Josephine, and father, Joe Dellarose, opened the place that Bel Air Road in Overly.
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of the building I grew up running around in as a kid. And I think bar and restaurant was just absorbed into my skin, you know.
It's a way of life, right?
Yeah, and it's a demanding life.
No doubt.
It's 24/7. You can never really get away from it, you know.
Yeah.
So, and it's stressful. And unfortunately, my dad passed away I was age 11, and he was 57 when he passed. And my mom is still alive. She's 96.
God bless her, man.
Yeah, but she is on home hospice right now.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. So we're, we're there. I'm spending the night a few nights a week there with her and trying to hang out with her as much as I can, you know.
Yeah.
But she's an amazing woman, smart businesswoman.
If I'm not mistaken, I remember her waiting on me.
Well, she was always in the kitchen cooking.
Or she came out one time.
She would always come out. She'd have an apron on.
Yes.
Little short Italian lady.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Had big forearms from working pizza dough her whole life. Yeah. So
excellent.
yes, she's a fantastic, just one of my idols, you know.
Well, it made it authentic, the feeling while you were there.
Yeah.
You know, it just made it feel like you're in a real Italian place.
Yes, she was a great businesswoman, very smart, and really kept a good eye on everybody that worked there. You know, we all treated each other like family, all the staff, the customers, you know. Just, it was fantastic experience for many, many years.
Absolutely.
But like I said, it is stressful. And that's kind of, I said, I lost my dad early. And then when we lost him, my brother, Joe, he's 15 years older than me. He jumped into the family business at that point and started helping my mother. And they had their hands full. This was when we were on Bel Air Road. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I was kind of alone a lot at the time because my mother was always working. It was just us two left in the house because my older brothers and sister had moved out. So that opened the door for me to get in a little trouble when I was younger. You know, nothing terrible, but we were always respectful, but a little ornery and just the normal type of stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And
weren't we all?
yeah, it was just a little wild, I guess you could say. But
times we grew up into, you can't.
Yeah, it was a different era.
It was.
I was always hanging around the bar, and I kind of knew just what to do. And I do wish I would have really took school seriously, and because in the back of my mind, I always knew I was going into that business.
Yeah.
I didn't try as much as I should have, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, which I ended up regretting later in life when, to speed things up, you know, many good years in that business, left the family business and wanted to open a place of my own, which had that for 2.5 years out here in Bel Air, bar and restaurant.
Yes.
And then I was really, stretched incredibly thin because, like I said, it's 24/7, and I was getting some help from my wife, Linda. She's doing the payroll and helping me however she could, but I was almost trapped there for 2.5 years.
It's tough on the family too, I'm sure.
It is, and at the time, my kids were at critical ages. They were young teenagers, and they were not getting the attention from me that I needed. And I just believe God always knows best, and he picked me out of that business and shut it down. And it looks like you're going through something hard at the time because you're devastated. You put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into it. You also have these relationships with all the people you're working up there with.
Like a second family, right?
Yeah. And it's happened to me twice now. I have to look people in the eye and say, I'm really sorry, but we're going to have to shut the doors. And that's a horrible feeling.
Yes.
Because people in the room are counting on you, you know? And there's just nothing you could do about it. But we always did it the right way. You always hear these nightmare stories about some places that when they're in trouble, people just show up one day and they can't get in. And then just didn't tell anybody. Yeah, we never did it like that.
Yeah.
We told the staff and we gave them a time frame to get things in order. I hope you can make it, till we close the final day. If you can't, we understand and we'll just deal with it. But I didn't want to leave anybody high and dry like that, expecting to go to work one day and can't get in the door.
So you genuinely cared about your employees.
Absolutely.
It says a lot about you and your family business and all that.
Yeah. I mean, you get so close to these people. You're with them every day. They are a second family for sure. So
you opened up 2 restaurants at this point, and then you decided eventually to get into the real estate business?
Right. So when I closed Bel Air, I wasn't really sure what I was going to do. And I had reached out to a guy named Bud Craven, who's well-known and respected bar and restaurant guy in the Baltimore and Maryland area. He's had a bunch of really cool places. He was partners with the guy I went to high school with, Dave Carey, in this bar and restaurant up in Cecil County called Lee's Landing. Mm-hmm. And then
very familiar with that.
Through closing Delarose's in Bel Air, I was kind of getting coached by Bud because I called him. I was like, look, here's what's happening. We had a chance to possibly keep it going, but it was going to be too much to really lay out to keep it going and stuff. I was talking about bringing a partner in and all that stuff at the time. And then he guided me and he was basically like, it's time to go, and I respect him and took that advice. And I said, well, I'm going to go back to the basics. I'm just going to tend bar because I've tended bars so long. It's kind of like breathing to me, I can.
Second nature.
Yeah. And I worked for Bud up at Lee's Landing for a summer. And it was a great summer. I got to work with my friend Seabass, who he was working up there. And we had a good time all summer. We'd get on the bar and we'd give a pregame Ravens speech.
How did Seabass come about? What's that about?
Seabass, he just a buddy of mine that was always in Delarose's early. Well, he was an overly guy. So I knew him from back to Bel Air Road and stuff. But then when we first opened at the Avenue, he was living close by and was always in there, and with just big group of friends, we all hung out together, and we just got late night one night talking about let's do a show for the Ravens, and that's how that kind of came about. And then we give these pregame speeches. It was part
great.
Comedy.
It was good,
part
man.
Just firing people up. Mm-hmm. And summer was coming to an end, and those seasonal places, you got to find something to do in the winter. So I reached out to Bill Larney at Looney's. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's been a really good friend of mine for 30 years plus. We got to talk, and I told him what was going on, and he was like, I'd love to have you. I said, I want to come work for you, do some bartending, just get back to the basics. And it's been great. Him and Billy and Steve really took good care of me throughout the whole process. But while all that was going on, John Teal is a good buddy of yours.
Yep.
He reached out to me and talked to him about going into the...
I want to put a shout out to John real quick. John, we're wishing you a speedy recovery. I know you've been through a lot. Hang in there, buddy. We both love you.
Absolutely, John. Get better soon, buddy. John reached out and he said, "Did you ever think about real estate?" And I said, "I don't know. It seems pretty cool, but I've only done one thing my whole life, And then another guy named John Walker, who was a Delarose's customer, and he'd said the same thing. So I was talking with both of those guys. I was thinking about it. And I didn't have the confidence. I mean, I was kind of broken at the time. I was down
Yeah.
for losing the business, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And I said to my wife, I said, well, she's like, I think you'd be good at selling homes and stuff, and I, at that time, and I'm a 180 from where I was then, but at that time, I said to her, who's going to want to buy a home from me? People are used to me giving them drinks and food. And then I started thinking, and I was like, well, it's still customer service. I've done that my whole life. And it's still marketing. And I've done that my whole life. And I said, it's really, what's the difference between serving up a Manhattan or a margarita or a 2-story colonial, or a Cape Cod, So I was like, I'm going to try it. If you look at my business card, it's funny because the first team I got on was, I went with John Walker. So let me get you on this team that he was working at the time. And I went in and it was kind of learning all these things at once. You're sort of drinking from the fire hydrant, Mm-hmm. So I was all over the place, and they're like, show up tomorrow, you got to get your picture taken.
Headshot.
Yeah. And that's still the headshot I use, but I just look scared to death in it. Yeah, it makes me laugh now. But I started learning, by every deal you do, you learn a little something and you get more confidence. And then right as soon as I got my license, COVID hit, and it took that time before I even announced I had my license, like that COVID summer went by, and I tried to study as much as I could and learn as much as I could. And then a guy named Rob Commodari, I joined his team, and he really taught me a lot about this business. That's when I really started gaining confidence and really figuring out what I was doing with this business.
For me, for you, thinking of you as a real estate agent, I see it as a no-brainer.
Thank you.
Because I think you care about people. And you see that in your eyes, you see that in your demeanor. You're a caring person. And I think that's a big part of being any kind of customer service, any kind of employee, any kind of person, is if you care about the person, then you're going to try to do your best for them.
Exactly. With real estate, you can't make mistakes because this is thousands of dollars, so you got to really be on top of everything.
Yes.
I mean, if something were happening at the bar, I could make them a new drink. I could drop them a new order of chicken tenders, whatever. so that's why now you got to make sure everything's right and it's do everything you can to have a smooth transaction, and there's always a few bumps in the road, but you got to make it as comfortable as you can and get that thing across the finish line for your clients.
Excellent. What, just to change things a little bit around here, what is your passion? Like what is it, sports? Is it selling real estate? Is it tending bar? Is it your family? What's your main passion?
It's a little bit of all those things. No matter what you're doing, you have to have passion, or else people won't buy it. They won't believe that you care about it, whatever. But when I'd get on the bar and talk and give a speech about the Ravens, you could see that I really cared about the Ravens and really wanted them to win that game or whatever. And it was just being a fan.
Genuine.
But people could see it, and that's what made it work. And then I always had faith. And then me and my family started going to Mountain Christian Church.
Yeah, I hear a lot of great things about Mountain Christian.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And the first time we went in there was around Easter. It was on Palm Sunday. And I had been thinking about going. We were going to the Catholic Church, and I still appreciate and love the Catholic Church. And I grew up that way, so that's what I was used to. Me and my family, kids were young at the time, and we're thinking about going there. And this thing started happening with the business. So me and my brother were partners, and then we had sort of a business divorce, which is a bad thing, you never want to go through anything like that. And we went there on Palm Sunday to Mountain, and for whatever reason that day, the message was about Cain and Abel for some reason. So it was about brothers, you know?
Yeah.
And
hit home, right?
Yeah, it's just one of those. I used to call them bloody nose sermons, like on it just hits you. And then I was hooked. So that's my passion. And if you follow the Lord, you're walking with the Lord, you want to take care and provide for your family, and very, very thankful and blessed for them. Had rough spurts too. Lost a home, lost a car, had to give things away,
Yeah.
But the favorite movie of all time for me is Rocky. So, I always kind of, when you go through tough times, you might be down for a little bit, but you always get up and you always got to keep punching.
Amen to that, man.
So
I can resonate with you on that one.
yeah, man.
Through all this, through everything that you've been through, okay, who is your mentor? Who did you have a mentor?
Oh yeah. So I would say growing up, my brother Joe was definitely my mentor when I was real young. Of course, my mom and dad were always at the restaurant, so he was out in the backyard throwing me wiffle balls and Nerf footballs and stuff like that. And so that was huge. And I listened to the things that he said about, never doing drugs and all those things. And that's what, cause I was offered drugs constantly, cause I was a big party guy and drinking and goofing off and being, wild. And it was always, I made a promise to him, like, I'm not going to do drugs. And so to this day, I've never done any drugs besides alcohol. And I don't know if this counts as mentoring or not, but my wife, Linda, she brings out the best in me. She knows me up and down. And she was the one that pushed me to say, no, you can be a realtor. She's just a rock. She's always there for me.
Can't think of a better mentor to have than your partner.
Yeah, she's everything. She's my best friend, my mentor, my partner. And I'd be lost without her. So.
Yeah. If you could give any advice to today's youth, what would you give them?
If you look at the road I went down, I had it easier in some ways because in school, I didn't have to perform or push myself as hard as I could because I always had a restaurant business to walk into, which most people don't have a family business to walk into. But even if you do, my advice is, don't take the shortcut. Go hard and learn as much as you can and go as far as you can, because later in life, that shortcut that you took, it's going to resurface somewhere and you have to pay for it. Because I found myself at age 48 out of the bar and restaurant business, scratching my head. What am I going to do now? I'm already 48 years old. I got to reinvent myself. And God guided me to get into real estate and become a realtor. And it's working out. But I still look back and I think, man, where would I have been if I would have known about real estate when I was 21 years old? I'd probably have 100 rental properties right now or whatever. I mean, I'm not saying that I would. So my advice is go out and learn as much as you can and try really hard in school. And at a young age, come see me and we'll start your real estate portfolio.
There you go.
Because honestly, if I had it to do over again, I would have started buying small properties, renting them out for passive income. And then down the road, you can hold them or cash them in or whatever you want to do. So that's a good way to build wealth. But there's always going to be the waves that come or the hard times, the storms, whatever. When that happens, focus on the Lord, not the storm. I mean, it says in the Bible that we're going to go through storms. He's the anchor in the storm. So step one is give your life to Christ and follow the blueprint. The Bible it's the living, breathing word of God, but it's a blueprint for us to how we should live our lives. If you follow in those footsteps, if you walk with the Lord, you're going to always have problems, but also He's going to walk with you. You're going to get through them and you will have an abundant life that He wants you to live at the end of the day. And then the last thing is, we talked about this. If you haven't watched Rocky, go watch it. Because
which one?
Watch all of them.
Okay.
Right? But Rocky 1's my favorite.
Me too.
It's called Going the Distance. And that's because when you go through those storms in life, sometimes you do end up face down on the canvas and you have to just get up and you got to keep fighting.
Greatest comeback film of all time. Right?
it's-
Even though he didn't come back, but
He went the distance.
he went the distance.
And everybody felt like he won, but it was just for him. It was that he did everything he could. He didn't quit, you
Yes.
know, and that's the message.
You and others that we've interviewed have resonated with that. I
Yeah.
hope that our youth take that to heart, that even though you're going through something hard and terrible and it might feel like the end of the world, that shall pass.
Yes.
And you can prevail. And no matter what avenue you use to get through it, as long as it's good for you and your heart,
Right.
and you know it's good, you can do it.
That's right. Just
So,
keep punching.
Keep punching, man.
Yep.
Push for more.
Exactly. Push for more.
We're going to wrap it up today. And Tony, thanks a lot.
Thank you, my man.
Thanks for
It's been great.
spilling your heart out for us. I thank you so much for letting us be here at the Harford County Regional Office for Caldwell Banker.
Yeah, thank
Beautiful
you for
place.
Thank you for having me. Honored to be here. What you guys are doing is fantastic.
Thank
and
you.
Keep good luck to you. God bless.
Thank you. God bless you too. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to the Push for More podcast. To join our mentor network or appear on the podcast, feel free to reach out to us at thepushformore.com.
And if you have the means, please consider making a tax-deductible contribution to help support our mission.
Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Every little bit helps us push forward.
Round two.